The Founder is a 2016 American biographical drama film directed by John Lee Hancock and written by Robert Siegel. Starring Michael Keaton as businessman Ray Kroc, the film portrays the story of his creation of the McDonald's fast food restaurant chain, which eventually involved forcing out the company's original founders to take control with conniving ruthlessness. Nick Offerman and John Carroll Lynch co-star as McDonald's founders Richard and Maurice McDonald. The film premiered at ArcLight Hollywood on December 7, 2016, and was released theatrically in the United States on January 20, 2017, by the Weinstein Company. It grossed $24 million worldwide and received generally positive reviews from critics, who praised Keaton's performance. Did you know? The company Kroc worked for prior to founding McDonald's, Prince Castle, still exists and supplies McDonald's with much of its equipment. While there were some hard feelings between the McDonald brothers and Ray, it wasn't as bitter as portrayed. The brothers were very happy with the huge retirement nest egg they'd gotten from the buyout and from their legacy. Dick even ate the ceremonial 50 billionth hamburger in 1984. The McDonald's back office set was built on the same stage as Ray Kroc's office. In order to create genuine reactions to the phone conversations, the props and sound departments rigged the phones with speakers so that both sets of phone conversations could be filmed simultaneously. The on-screen flies that were attracted to the smell at McDonald's were actually Cocoa Krispies. They were poured in front of a powerful fan in order to make it look like swarms of flies. Ray Kroc was 52 when he met the McDonald brothers. Michael Keaton was 65 at the time of filming. While the original McDonald's was started in San Bernardino, California, the movie didn't film there because modern San Bernardino doesn't look the way it did in the 1950s. Although the Georgia locations used don't quite look like 1950s San Bernardino either, the original McDonald's restaurant is a generally accurate reproduction. Storyline warning spoiler. In 1954, Ray Kroc is a traveling milkshake machine salesman. While he and his supportive wife Ethel have saved enough money to live a comfortable life in Arlington Heights, Illinois, he craves more. Ray also observes that many of the drive-in restaurants that he tries to sell to are inefficiently run. After learning that a drive-in in San Bernardino is ordering an unusually large number of milkshake mixers, Ray drives to California to see it. What he finds is McDonald's a popular walk-up restaurant with fast service, high-quality food, disposable packaging and a family-friendly atmosphere. Ray meets with the two McDonald brothers, Maurice Mac and Richard Dick McDonald. They give Ray a tour of the kitchen, and he notes the employees' strong work ethic. Ray is astounded with the restaurant and takes the brothers to dinner. They tell him the origin story of McDonald's and how they came to design their fast food system. The next day, Ray suggests that the brothers franchise the restaurant, but they hesitate, pointing out that they already tried, only to have encountered absentee franchisees who were lackadaisical in upholding their system. Ray persists and eventually convinces the brothers to allow him to lead their franchising efforts on the condition that he agrees to a strict contract which requires all changes be subject to the McDonald brothers' approval. Initially, Ray begins building a McDonald's restaurant in Des Plaines, Illinois, while attempting to entice wealthy investors, specifically fellow members at his country club, to open franchises, but encounters the same poor management ethic which doomed the original franchise efforts. After encountering a Bible salesman who's Jewish, Ray hits on the idea of franchising to middle-class investors who have more incentive to be hands-on and are willing to follow the McDonald's formula. This proves successful, and new franchises begin opening across the Midwest, with Ray representing himself as the creator of McDonald's and Fred Turner, a burger cook at the Des Plaines restaurant who caught Ray's eye on the grill, as his associate. During this time, Ray meets Raleigh Smith, an upscale restaurant owner in Minnesota who wishes to invest, and Raleigh's wife, Joan, to whom Ray is immediately attracted. Despite his success, Ray begins to encounter financial difficulties as his share of franchise profits are limited due to his contract, which the McDonald brothers decline to renegotiate. Meanwhile, the owners are encountering higher than expected costs, particularly for refrigeration of large amounts of ice cream for milkshakes. Joan suggests a powdered milkshake as a way to avoid these costs, but the brothers consider it degrading to their food quality. Ray is called to the bank as his mortgage is past due, but this is overheard by Harry Sonborn, a financial consultant, who requests to review Ray's books. Sonborn realizes that the real profit opportunity is in providing real estate to the franchisees, which will not only provide a revenue stream, but give Ray leverage over his franchisees and the brothers. Ray incorporates a new company, Franchise Realty Corporation, and attracts new investors. This allows him to open new restaurants without the brothers' approval. This upsets the brothers and emboldens Ray. He increasingly defies them by circumventing their authority and providing powdered milkshakes to all franchisees, but not their restaurant. Ray also divorces his wife, Ethel, who gets all his assets except any shares in his business. Ray renames his company the McDonald's Corporation and demands to be released from his contract and buy the McDonald brothers out, the news of which sends Mac into diabetic shock. Ray visits him in the hospital and offers a blank check to settle their business. The brothers agree to a $2.7 million lump sum payment, equivalent to $26 million in 2020, ownership of their original restaurant in San Bernardino, and a 1% annual royalty. But when the time comes to finalize the agreement, Ray refuses to include the royalty in the settlement and instead offers it as a handshake deal. Afterwards, Dick confronts Ray and asks why he had to take over their business when he could have easily stolen their idea and recreated it. Ray argues that the true value of McDonald's is the name itself, which expresses all the attributes of Americana. The McDonald brothers are forced to take their own name off the original restaurant and Ray opens a new McDonald's franchise directly across the street, finally putting the brothers out of business. The film ends in 1970, where Ray prepares a speech in his elaborate mansion with his new wife, Joan, now divorced from Raleigh Smith. In the speech, Ray, plagiarizing heavily from a motivational speech he heard earlier in the film, praises himself for his success. He states that he was able to achieve it, not through talent or a strong work ethic, but through persistence. An epilogue reveals that the McDonald brothers were never paid their royalties, which would have eventually been in the area of $100 million a year, and that every day McDonald's feeds approximately 1% of the Earth's population. See you later.